Okay, in chapter 11, there's a lot of heat and intimacy, so we're going to skip most of that. And we're going to go right to page 185 to 187, which is the end of the book. Um, he lifted his head and looked down into her soft, sated eyes. He smiled at her expression. His big hand brushed back her unruly red gold hair. "Now you know," he whispered. She nodded. "Now I know." He covered her mouth with his and kissed her hungrily. "That's the exclusive club I mentioned." "Uh-huh," she murmured lazily. "We are now members in good standing," he chuckled. Her eyes were laughing as they met his. "Yes, we are. So where are we going?" "Jamaica," he said. Montego Bay, to be precise. We can be beachcombers for a week." "Maybe enlist on a pirate ship and raid small villages," she suggested. He pinched her bottom and laughed when she flinched against it and grinned at him. "Maybe sit around drinking pina coladas and enjoy the swimming pool," he countered. "Spoil sport." He smoothed back her damp hair. "My darling, if you wanted a pirate ship for real, I would go out and get you one. I'm the happiest man in the world right now." "I hope to keep you that way." She touched his hard mouth. "What does J.L. stand for?" He smiled. "John Lewis," he said. "But I've gone by J.L. for so long it's pretty much my name now." "I have a better one." "You do?" She nodded. "My sweetheart." He grinned from ear to ear. "I like it." She tugged him closer. "Me too. And this is where we live happily ever after, right?" He rolled over, taking her with him. "Happily ever after and after and after. Promise? Cross my heart." She smiled with her whole heart and kissed him again. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you more." She beamed. It was her first time he really said it. "You do?" "I loved you when you were standing in the rain, holding a protest sign with your hair all wet," he confessed. "You stole my heart. And when I didn't think I had one left, I lost it. If I'd lose you, I could never have gone home again, you know." He added solemnly, "I'll have been a wanderer for the rest of my life, rootless and useless." She touched his mouth with her fingertips. "You stole my heart when you took me home and dried my clothes and made me coffee." He smiled. "And here we are married." Married. She looked up at the beautiful diamond set in gold and its beautiful wedding band. "Now I really feel married," she added with a wicked look. He chuckled. "So do I." He pursed his lips. "Hungry yet?" She moved under him. "Yes, but not for food," she whispered against his mouth. "Suppose we have another go at that exclusive club you mentioned." He smoothed his body over hers. "And we should have just enough time before we land," he said with a grin. And they did that just. 9 months to the day later, a little boy was delivered in the community hospital in Benton, Colorado. His name was Cole Reed Denton, and had so many godmothers and godfathers that they all couldn't fit into the waiting room. They spilled out onto the parking lot, and some were sitting in the stretch limos until they could get into the building. It was all talked about in Benton for many years to come. The rancher and his famous wife, who were just J.L. and Cassie locally, no matter how famous she got or how much richer he got. The lovebirds, as they were referred to, were just part of their big family that was Benton, and they did live happily ever after. Oh, with stories of forgiveness, some anger, but yet they overcome their anger and they see the faults, but yet they realize the faults aren't enough to keep them away from each other. I don't know. One question that was in the inbox that they asked me, they said, could you see yourself in a situation like Cassie and then be as forgiving to accept that forgiveness and move forward? I think our scars are always with us, our battle scars from every hurt, every wound. And you have to be a big person in order to forgive. You have to really be understanding and comprehensive of what the past did to you and be able to talk to in order to go forward. Um, some of my biggest issues have been communication in my relationships, and I would say that it does take a big part of understanding to actually sit there, listen before you speak, and then comprehend to where you're going. Um, Cassie is one lucky woman. Um, I would be like her, though, thinking that, Marge has already stole his heart, so why bother trying? I don't know if I would be wanting to go out to dinner, because what if he was going to tell. The author could have included this part, I thought. What if JL was going to tell her, okay, yeah, I'm here in New York, but not for a second chance to tell you how happy I am with Marge. I don't know, maybe it's just all my negative thinking or how life has always turned out, but, you know, coming in second place to an ex-fiance almost like Cassie did, it's rough. Anyway, that being said, the book gets a 40. That's the highest rating I've ever given any book, because I like, the romance. I like how she's naive in the world and he respects her naivety, and he loves her for who he thought she was, but who she really was, meaning he didn't at first care about her past, but when he did find out about her past, could care less. He accepted all her faults. He then was like, okay, you know what? We're going to make this marriage work. And they hadn't got married, but you get the gist. He was going to ask her to marry him. They got married. They had a kid. And, to me, it's just the perfect romance. So, with that being said, let's find a song so I can quickly sing. I do work tomorrow, so we can't make these videos too long, if you know what I mean. And I still have laundry to put away. When I took my time out, I just cleaned out the lint trap. I still have to do the laundry, get the bike down so I can bike starting tomorrow. I'm excited about this. I've got to try and incorporate it with my cardio. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to do the cardio and the bike riding, but I will figure it out. You can bet your boots. I've got to figure out how to maybe do a little bit of my weightlifting and then bike riding, or a little bit of dancing and stuff. I may not do videos with you every night, so get prepared. I know you're all disheartened about this, but you'll see me enough on here. Thank you for sharing the book. Thank you for letting me share the book, The Rancher's Wedding, Diana Palmer, with you. And I hope that you go out and pick up some of her books, if not that book. This book here in particular is going to the Candy Kitchen on Sunday. So if you get to the Candy Kitchen, be sure to pick up this book because you won't regret it. It's very, very good. So stay tuned.